So if you're watching this video, I'm going to make the assumption that you're familiar with at least the basics of this project, and so I'm going to omit the explanation as to how Iota works and try something a bit different. I want to push the bar a little, and instead of just giving one big list of all of the good things about Iota, I'm also going to talk about the problems and issues with this project as well. Because in order to even try and conduct an unbiased analysis, an investor has to consider the good and the bad. They have to remove their emotional attachment to the project and consider it as if they weren't a fan of crypto at all. And full disclosure here, Iota is one of my more favoured crypto projects, and I really like the ideas and problems which they are solving, but at the same time I will be doing my best to provide an objective and unbiased analysis. Anyway, before we do that, if you're an investor who appreciates a good old-fashioned unbiased analysis, then consider subscribing and turning on post notifications for more content like this. So first of all, let's think about the positives of this project. What value is Iota bringing to the real world that will in turn allow it to reap value and appreciate in price, thus rewarding its early investors? So of course Iota is effectively providing a decentralized ledger to record transactions between electronic devices, effectively an interconnected web of electrical appliances and devices alike, which share information within a system known as the Internet of Things. In 2021, there are literally billions of electrical devices connected to the internet, and every one of those devices helps to collect valuable information about the consumption habits of their users in some way or another. Information which is valuable, and many of these devices are then sharing this information with each other, including information about payments. And in an age where information is quite reasonably called the new gold, Iota are offering a method of executing payments between these devices in a way which is more secure than the way that things are currently done, and also a way which is more democratic in terms of how the information is stored and accessed. Iota's key innovation, and therefore the thing which gives them a competitive advantage on the likes of Bitcoin and others, is that Iota uses Tangle, a system of nodes that confirm transactions which is superior to that of traditional blockchain, as it's faster and more efficient and also solves many of the scalability issues involved with Bitcoin. And by the term scalability issues, I'm talking about the problems which occur with Bitcoin as a product of increased numbers of transactions. As many of us know, when the number of transactions executed using Bitcoin rises, so too does the cost and execution time, which effectively for now at least has rendered Bitcoin unusable at a scale large enough to satisfy mainstream demand. Iota are currently partnered with a number of fairly large and reputable companies, as well as a number of smaller companies too. Now this to me is a very good indication that unlike many other crypto projects where the idea is good but execution is simply unrealistic or unfeasible, the fact that Iota have landed and retained a number of reputable partners is kind of like evidence of proof of concept, and that the idea is valuable not only on their white paper, but also in a real-life commercial environment. In business, if your organization, and more to the point you, do not solve the problems or provide the value that you said you would be able to, you won't last for very long, and the fact that Iota have managed to retain prominent partners so far is a good sign, but nonetheless something which should be monitored carefully. In terms of its downsides, Iota, while they do solve many of the scalability issues associated with Bitcoin, also have their own problems too. For example, Iota's claims to be able to solve certain scalability issues in the blockchain space rely on the use of DAGs. And there is skepticism surrounding the ability of hash graphs, which are essentially the data structures underlying the DAGs, to be able to solve such issues. You see, hash graphs do not eliminate the dependency of blockchain on computer memory and processing power, as the competence of a system using hash graphs is still reliant upon the processing power and storage of the individual computers which make up the network. And of course, many scalability issues arise in the first place because of the limitations of the computers which make up the network supporting the blockchain in question, and so this concern is valid. Although in Iota's defense, they are still, at least in my opinion, doing better than the competition on this front. And it's unfair to judge a project which is effectively a constantly evolving organization by a perfect standard. We have to instead think about the alternatives. And for so long as Iota can continue to gain and retain those arrangements, it means that they are doing well enough to be competitive in the space. There are also concerns regarding the safety of Iota circulating online and have been for quite a while, but again this isn't unique to Iota, and I can't think of any fairly prominent crypto project which doesn't receive a healthy dose of criticism regarding its safety and then some on top. And this is completely to be expected in my opinion, as crypto is a very new industry and there will inevitably be growing pains, and of course some of them will be unpleasant, but still it's an important part of the process of innovation. On balance, I think that the upsides far outweigh the downsides in terms of risk, but that's just my opinion, and I'll leave the verdict to the court of public opinion. Thanks for watching, and if you enjoyed and would like to see more content like this, be sure to subscribe.